And good morning and happy birthday to you, Gabriel Kumi of Trinity Oil, Tantra Hill. We wish you all the best, and may the Lord lay his hands upon you as you celebrate your day today, and everyone else celebrating their birthdays today. But on the newspaper are certain critical issues that are actually apt for the season, and definitely that's what we'll be discussing this morning. And I have my friend Scofray here with me this morning. Scofray, good morning. You look sharp. We will delve quickly into the daily graphic that says, towards peaceful, successful elections, playing by the rules, the only magic wand. All right, very long caption there. The chairman of the Electoral Commission, Dr. YANKEY, has stated that the only magic wand to attain peaceful and successful elections is for all actors to play by the rules of the game. And it goes on and it's talking about when the launch of the booklets that would stipulate the behaviors, the activities, and the role that will be played by polling station agents, especially representatives of the political parties, the media, and everyone else, of what we are supposed to be doing there. That is what the story is about. But let's see, over the years, Scofray, does that mean that we haven't really been told what to do right? The reason why we have had some of these problems coming up in the polling stations sometimes is quite critical.
Yeah, I believe that the continuous processes that we've gone through so far has given the EC the impetus to put together this particular rules or guide to sail us through this particular. It's amazing. The dynamics of this year's election is so high and the stakes are very high. If you to really read much into, you understand that some parties will never be able to contest their flag bearers again, and some parties are now also really going to have their flag bearers really contesting a proper election. So the stakes are very high, and I believe that with the lessons that have been learned so far, Mr. Farjan has been there for a very long time, and I believe that with the wisdom he's gathered, he's now been able with his team to put together some form of guidelines. They are the umpire, they are the referees for this year's election. So any game has a referee and rules and regulations. So if they've been able to put together these rules and regulations to make sure that we sail through this year's election safely, then it is timely. But it also behoves on the political parties and other stakeholders, the major stakeholders, to really be abreast with these guidelines and rules, and also be willing and prepared to play by it. Like Riley, he said that in the story, he said that sometimes they just flout the rules to their interest, forgetting that at the long run, when they don't play their part as stakeholders and there are aftermaths or there are other chaos, you can't push it to the EC. So we are all, they are the major stakeholders to make sure that they go by the rules. They shouldn't just take the books. They should make sure that the part that is assigned to them, whether it be the journalists, the security forces, everybody must take their part.
But Scofray, you know, what actually makes this a big deal is over the years we've had, especially around this time, maybe it's even a little late this year, but around elections, we bring out the do's and don'ts for the media, for the politicians, for the flag bearers, for the assistant. But eventually you realize that it's more of an emotional program or activity than following the rules. But that doesn't really tally.
EKUBA, it's also
what makes
interesting.
This different? Anyway?
It's different. Like I said, if you are going to look, if you take time to look at the dynamics of this year's election, and you think that you can play it the same way you played this several years ago, then you don't have the country at heart. It is as a result of what the EC might have been able to come across and decide to bring this thing into being. So it is also up to the other stakeholders, the political parties especially, to play by the rules. And also it goes back to the EC. When somebody flouts these guided rules, what will happen? We've not really have the opportunity where somebody flouted the rules and this was a measure that was meted to the person or to the political party.
But let's look at the timing as well. I mean, we've had 4 years, okay, 4 years practically, sailing through. I mean, it's incumbent that the time is the season, the mood, everybody's mind is on it. But didn't we need a little more time to imbibe what these do's and don'ts are? Now everybody's on the campaign trail. going to gather these people
better late than never.
Reciting, sit here, stand here, don't touch this, don't ask this question. No.
I believe that since it's not going to be a wholesale kind of training, it is timely. It is better having it than not having it at all. It is better putting together this book and making people assimilate it than not having it at all. Like those, like you said, they just meet, okay, this is what we should do, this is what we should do. Now there is a reference point that if you don't do this, this is what might happen. There's a reference. We have a reference guide now. It is better than those if an A4 sheet. After you read through, you put it somewhere. Now it's in a booklet. Anytime your eye chance on it, you go like, let me see what it talks about.
That's if there will be the time to do that.
Amazing.
Maybe it's about time
factor.
That the rest of us, the media as well, put our hands on. They can make a lot more noise. Bring the EC here and everybody else. But the point is, everybody's busy now making sure that the election runs well. And to bring them to sit down and tell us what we are supposed to do and what we are not supposed to be. But it falls on the call by the former president of Botswana, who is calling for us to ensure that maintaining the peace and stability of the country before, during, during and after the general election lies on us. He said transparency and good management of the electoral processes were very critical at this stage, because any mistake, however unintended, will veer into something else. And he brings his warning or his edge to all of us to look at some of these things that perhaps are stipulated in the manual.
Amazingly, everybody across the globe is concerned about this upcoming election. And for him to add his voice is to tell us Ghanaians how much we mean to the outer world. To be the beacon of hope for Africa, or the black star, or the hope of Africa is no mean a title or no mean an accolade to just throw it away just like that. It behoves on us as Ghanaians to see that many people are looking up to us. So we must keep on charting the course that others could hit their chest and say, as for Ghana, we can put our last penny on them. So we should take this as a clarion call by other Ghanaians, other Africans who wants to see Ghana move forward or champion the cause of democracy in Africa. If Ghana sails through, it will become a measuring, or will become a yardstick for other countries. If Ghana of about 26 million people were able consistently to sail through elections, then others who are over 30 million and co can also learn and go like, we must go the direction of it. The best example any African nation can have in the area of democracy must be an African nation. And if Ghana has been able to set that pace for some time, we should not let it go. Amazingly, anytime you are so close in clocking a record, you are also so close in letting it go like that. So it is a clarion call. Yeah,
that brings us to the last elections. You know how we touted it as a mere clash, a mere that, but for the other party agreeing to the fact that they lost and all that, a lot of mishaps happened during the time. And perhaps the reason why this manual is launched and several calls for prayers and other things. But are we as people not getting complacent with the fact that we've had smooth elections over the time?
Amazingly, we are getting so much complacent, and it is a Ghanaian thing, which I think that this particular election must be a wake-up call, a clarion call to all of us. Let us not think that Ghanaians are so peaceful that we wouldn't get to the brink of what has happened to other nations. Yes, we don't pray so. We are all contributing to it that it doesn't happen. But using last election as a litmus test, it was so close. Very, 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 very close. If anybody at all does not remember anything, that particular Tuesday, all of a sudden,
which one?
The declaration of the second round results. All of a sudden, companies started shutting down their offices, banks closing, market women. What happened? Nobody said a word, but it was a feeling.
We forget easily.
So that's what I'm saying. If we have forgotten anything, let's remember that Tuesday, that when the EC was about to release that particular results, all of a sudden, Ghana became quiet.
Very quiet.
So let us cast our mind back that day and push through this election, that Ghana first, nothing more, nothing less.
Well, on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, EC plays tough. No party can dictate to us, and it's about the registration money for the nominees, the presidential candidates, 10,000 Ghana cedis, 10,000. 10,000 Ghana cedis, and it's not compromising on it. But as we talk about this situation that we all have to remember and put our minds to, the CJ has called for a very critical thing. It holds money politics, Chief Justice declares, and it was part of a discussion we had last week where we talked about how difficult it is now for people vying for office to go to the grassroots and supply stuff and do stuff, and where they get the money and how they disperse it. And if you don't have it, you can't find yourself there. And she's talking about getting ourselves into trying to stop it.
I mean, if she had been a mathematics professor, she would have been something else, because she said that the amount of money that is churned into the process, when people assume the office, they will use other means to make sure that all the amount of money they spent will be accrued, and that borders on corruption. So for her to make this call, amazingly, her office also is part and parcel of making sure that they kept this instance of corruption or attitude of corruption. So the money politics of this dispensation indeed is an albatross around our neck. It's not really about how much you need to campaign. Who has made it look like that? Tell me, the person in the village, it is mostly not about the billboard he is going to see, or about the big posters or the big rallies. It is about simple things. If I need potable water and I don't get it, and you come after 4 years, you are not come to promise me again.
But do we look at that? I mean, those of us, the electorates, those of us are voting, do we look for the fact that I haven't gotten my water, and for me that's what matters, or what you're bringing to me on the campaign grounds, what you're dishing out to me, the reason why? T-shirts. If you know how people fight over T-shirts.
It's amazing. It's amazing. That should tell you the way we reason, or the way the ideal Ghanaian reason.
Or is it the way we have been pushed around by the political candidates?
We've allowed it. We, the ordinary citizens, have allowed them to dictate the pace as to how they want things done, but not as to how we want things done. If a common T-shirt can tilt my thumb to a particular direction, that should tell you that we have a long way to go in Ghana development. But on the other hand,
we take the money, we take the roofing sheet, we take the whatever, and the T-shirt, but we won't vote for you.
Sometimes I enjoy that part. You can take it and teach them that lesson,
we are not
so that
really
we can reduce.
After all.
Well, it's okay.
But the fact that a lot of money get pumped into it,
yes, it's a problem.
What must stop.
It's a problem.
And for people, it is their cocoa season. Sometimes when you're coming around with your campaign, we know that we are going to get this, we are going to get that, and we bring our bags. Anyway, so thanks having you for the first on the newspaper review with me, right?
That's true.
I think so. And as for you, I know you know all of it, and you deliver. It has been the newspaper review segment of the Breakfast Show, touching on pertinent issues and especially touching on the season. But I have something the junior graphist said: more children to have free meals. Kids who eat lots of fast food develop lower IQs. So think about it, and let's see how we can cut down on that. The news is next, and then God's segment comes up. Stay with us.